All right, Commanders, welcome back. A new patch just hit the servers, and, if you're anything like me, you want to know what actually matters. So let's cut through all the noise in these patch notes.
Okay, first things first, let's head into Transogen space. Seriously, the quality of life improvements here, they are by far the biggest deal in this update. If you're playing this game every day, this is where you're going to feel it the most. So the number one headline change is this. That constant, that nagging hazard damage you take in Transogen systems, all the way from level 32 to 60, well, they've turned it way, way down. That constant drain on your hull should finally be less of a pain.
And get this, these are the developers' exact words. So that tells you exactly what they're thinking. They want your life to be easier. For us, what does that really mean? It means less time warping back to base for repairs and a lot more time actually fighting and getting stuff done.
And it's not just less damage. The cost to refine raw common Transogen has also been lowered. Now, for anybody who's between ops levels 30 and 60, this is just a fantastic change. It's going to help you get through your daily refining tasks way faster.
Oh, and speaking of help, the devs are also throwing in a little freebie for a limited time. If you head over to the Transogen refinery, you can claim a free hazard resistance consumable, and you can do it 5 times. So don't forget to grab those. Seriously, don't leave them on the table. All right, next up, this is a good one. They have finally streamlined the whole artifact conversion process. So you can forget clicking on every single shard. Now you can just select a whole bunch of them, hit one convert button, and you can even turn off those annoying confirmation pop-ups. This is a massive, massive time saver.
So, with all these quality of life changes, you're going to be spending a lot more time out there in space, right? But that's only good if your ships are actually working the way they're supposed to. So let's look at some really important fixes for your fleet.
Okay, this table here kind of breaks down the big ones. The Serene Squall's ability name is now correct, just a nice little bit of polish there. But more importantly, the GS-31's gravitational blast, it'll actually fire in wave defense now. And G5 hostiles will finally drop the right G5 ship parts, not G4 stuff. Huge! And hey, on a smaller note, just to show they're paying attention, they've also cleaned up some minor typos, like correcting the Exile label on Khan's necklace. It's the little things that count, right? And this one's for all you dedicated researchers out there. This is a key fix. If you've poured resources into the FKR mining speed research, you'll be pretty happy to know that the bonus is now applying correctly at Tier 9. You're finally getting the full mining speed boost you've been working for. Okay, now let's talk about those super annoying little bugs. You know the ones, the kind that can just totally ruin your session. Well, this update comes in and just squashes a whole bunch of them, making the entire game feel way more stable and responsive. And this is a fantastic list of fixes for some bugs that were, let's be honest, seriously annoying. I know for sure I'm not the only one who's been taunted by that broken join button in wave defense, so seeing that fixed is great. And the speed up slider finally not resetting itself, oh man, that's a massive quality of life win right there. It's all these little tweaks that just make the game work. All right, and to wrap things up, let's look at the rapid-fire user interface fixes. Think of this as, polishing the windows and cleaning up the console for a much smoother experience at the helm. Yeah, this is a pretty huge stability pass. For anyone playing on an iPhone with a notch, that Astrometrics UI fix has been a long time coming. And that totally unresponsive claim button in the Alliance Tournament store? Gone. Fixed. These changes, plus fixing the filter for woke Carol Marcus, it all just adds up to less frustration and way fewer forced restarts. So at the end of the day, Update 81.1, it isn't really about flashy new content. It's about making the game you're already playing a much, much better experience. From the reduced grind in Transogen space all the way to a more stable UI, these are the kinds of changes that actually respect your time. So I want you to think about your own gameplay loop. Which one of these fixes is going to have the biggest impact for you?